Good evening, and welcome to tonight's bedtime story. Today, we'll explore the story of Edward Teach, The Lone Path of Leadership. Find a comfortable position and let yourself relax. Let this story carry you through a peaceful night. Ready? Let's begin. The legend of Edward Teach, famously known as Blackbeard, presents a captivating paradox where the allure of glory intertwines with the burden of legacy. Teach's ambition was sculpted not merely from brutality, but from a masterful blend of myth and reputation that he carefully curated. In the dim quarters of a privateer's ship, Edward Teach sat in quiet contemplation. Flickering candlelight danced along the cramped cabin walls, casting shadows that whispered the mysterious secrets of ancient seas. The air here was thick with the scents of salt water, aged timber, and smoke, as if centuries of voyages watched over his pensive moment. Teach's dreams were like fleeting phantoms, dancing nimbly through his mind. His eyes, dark and brooding, harbored visions of a legacy built not by force alone, but by tales powerful enough to echo through the ages. Yet, alongside ambition, rested a shadow of unease, the understanding that true greatness demanded sacrifices that remained shrouded in mystery. The iconic beard, still an idea germinating with promise, symbolized much more than mere facial hair. To Teach, it was a banner, a testament to the legend he aspired to create. In that dimly lit cabin, his resolve crystallized, a commitment to forge an image formidable enough to rival any tangible conquest. The flickering flame served as a beacon, heralding the journey ahead, one where dread and respect would become his twin tools of influence. As the candle burned down, its light gradually yielded to the encroaching darkness, the room merging with the ocean's soothing rhythm. Teach's thoughts drifted with the ocean breeze, guided by stars that beckoned toward new realms and distant shores. Alone with the night, surrounded by the gentle lapping of waves against the hull, he welcomed the whisper of greatness that awaited him on the vast open sea. The tranquil night promised new beginnings, inviting him to embrace the audacious path that stretched endlessly before him. At sunrise, the Caribbean Sea unfurled before Edward Teach like a mystical canvas, its vastness imbued with an intoxicating promise of freedom. As light spilled across the horizon, the azure waves sparkled like a sea of diamonds, each glint a siren's call to the adventurous heart. The pirate sloop cut its daring path through the glistening turquoise expanse, riding crests and troughs with a grace that belied its rugged frame. Teach stood at the prow, the wind a mischievous companion, tugging and tousling his coat as if to tease him with breathless tales of untold adventures. It whispered seductively in his ear, weaving a tapestry of gust-driven stories from distant shores and hidden treasures. The scent of salt clung to the air, mingling with the cries of distant seabirds that circled above like ethereal sentinels. Their calls were a haunting refrain, weaving into the rhythmic lapping of waves against the ship's hull, a natural symphony of the untamed waters. Each note spoke of boundless possibilities, of lands uncharted and fates yet unraveled, carving a path directly into the core of Teach's restless spirit. Standing there, beneath the wide arc of the sky, Teach felt the oceans call a clarion of power, fortune, and fame resonating in his bones, stirring a deeper yearning within. He recalled the stories of Captain Hornigold, rich with the victorious strains of conquest, tales that painted the very seas with freedom's bold strokes, urging Teach ever onward. Within the snug embrace of nostalgia, a fierce ambition glinted, promising him riches and renown. Yet, beneath that heady intoxication lay an undertow of caution, its depths whispering of hubris and humanity's frailty. Each surge of the ocean was a reminder of nature's capriciousness, a reminder that the same sea that cradled the ship could easily swallow it whole should Teach's aspirations overreach the bounds of his mortal coil. As the sun climbed higher, its heat intensified, a golden orb casting sharp outlines that danced across the deck, shadows stretched like languid cats, flickering beneath billowing sails. Sailors moved around him, deftly attending to ropes and canvas with the practiced motions of men born to seize ceaseless rhythm. Their laughter and shouts mingled with the sea breeze, a grounding presence that kept the day's more dangerous musings at bay. When the day leaned toward dusk, the sun sank low, lavishing the seascape with an amber glow that diffused across the waters like molten gold. The horizon blazed, both a line of division and connection, past fading into future. In that serene gloaming, Teach felt a deceptive peace wrap around him like a gentle caress, the kind that stole softly into a man's heart and whispered of dreams yet unfurling. There, in the embrace of twilight, he pondered his personal odyssey, a journey sparked by the same seductive allure that promised triumph and legacy. And as night folded the sea into its Inkai grasp, Teach stood resolute, eyes scanning the infinite, charting courses into the mythic landscapes of his own ambitions, where danger, daring, and destiny were woven together as one. The sea breeze carried more than just the scent of salt and brine into New Providence. It bore with it the soul of a place unbound by the strictures of the world left behind. Edward Teach felt the pulse of this freedom in the very cobblestones beneath his boots, each step echoing a rhythm of possibilities in the humid night air. Torches sputtered along the waterfront, casting a flickering glow on the faces of men and women hardened by the sea, yet softened by fleeting moments of camaraderie and laughter. As Edward strolled through the bustling heart of the port town, his senses were enveloped by a whirlwind of sensations. The robust aroma of roasted meats from vendors tempted weary sailors, while the resonant clink of grog-filled tankards accompanied the boisterous conversations that ebbed and flowed around him. Enticed by the raucous energy, Edward ventured into a nearby tavern, where the innards thrummed with the rollicking strains of a fiddle, rhythmic stomp of feet on wooden floors. Inside, the dim light mingled with the smoke of pipes, creating an ambience both intimate and chaotic. Here, the bold and the damned gathered, their faces marked by sun and sin, eyes gleaming with the fervor of their pursuits or the zest of newfound friendships. The barmaids wove through the crowd with practiced ease, their presence a balm to weary souls seeking solace in temporary pleasures. Edward, towering and formidable, with an air of dark charisma, commanded attention even in a room full of outcasts. Conversations hushed as he passed, those who caught his eye quickly nodding in respect. He acknowledged these gestures with a tight-lipped smile, aware that such respect was hard-won and precariously maintained. In a world where allegiances shifted like the sands, trust was a currency as valuable as gold. As he settled into a worn leather chair, Edward's thoughts turned inward, the external cacophony fading to a murmur. The weight of his reputation was a double-edged sword, slicing through to the quick of what mattered most. Here was an environment where friendships could be shackles and orders masquerade as opportunities, a realization that almost amused him with its bitter irony. Beyond the tavern's walls, the night stretched vast and embracing, studded with stars that blinked down like the indifferent eyes of destiny. Locked in this introspection, Edward weighed the balance of freedom against fate. Each decision, each alliance, promised power, yet warned of peril. "There's gold in ambition," he mused, swirling the rum in his cup. The taste of it was both a comfort and a reminder of the precarious dance he engaged in daily. Even as he craved this intoxicant as much as the brew he tipped back, a lurking wariness remained, a caution born of knowing that in a world where everyone sought the helm, betrayal could come cloaked in the guise of brotherhood. He leaned back, the chair creaking in symphony with the distant sigh of the sea, pondering the precious commodity of loyalty and the cost it exacted from the bold-hearted and treacherous alike. Edward knew that in these moments of solitude, amidst the clamor of revelry, the echoes of his thoughts were louder than any chatter. With each star that blinked down, a reminder of choice hovered, a starry insistence upon paths yet untrodden, and the stories not yet unfolded. The vast open sea, endless in its mystery, beckoned quietly, holding within its depths a multitude of untold adventures, waiting patiently for those brave enough to chart them. As the night wore on, Edward remained seated, letting the whispers of the sea and the muted laughter within the tavern wash over him. He reflected on the duality of his existence, thriving in the chaos of the night, yet introspective in calm solitude. The stars above whispered ancient tales of seafarers and explorers, their silent vigil over the world, an eternal reminder of the immensity of the unknown. In the quiet moments, Edward found clarity, embracing the thrill of the unknown that lay ahead, where the horizon melted into dreams, and the sea promised freedom, adventure, and the lure of the open horizon. On the horizon, storm clouds gather like an ominous conference of celestial titans, casting an eerie pallor over the churning sea. Sharp gusts of wind rend the air as Queen Anne's revenge cuts through the surf, her formidable silhouette stark against the darkening sky. The vessel's black sails loom like the wings of a wicked seraph, their fabric woven of shadows and menace, each snap echoing with tales of dark ascension, and power won with cunning far more than brute force. Among the tangled rigging, the scent of salt and tar is thick and pungent, mingling with the tang of anticipation, an elixir that stirs the heart of even the most hardened buccaneer aboard. Teach, known to the world as Blackbeard, stands surveying his domain, a spectral figure wreathed in the smoke of smoldering fuses interlaced within his fearsome beard. His eyes, dark and calculating, peer from beneath a brim, capturing the dance of lightning upon the horizon, as if drawing strength from nature's fury. Within him brews an intricate storm of his own, a perilous duality clashing like the conflicting elements above. Outwardly, he wears the mantle of terror, a carefully constructed facade born of strategy, the power of narrative gripped firmly in his grasp. He understands the mighty sway of reputation, of becoming more diabolical legend than mere man. Here, beneath the skull and crossbones, he is both wizard and puppet master, the puppeteer of fear, pulling strings not just of his crew, but of the world itself. The ship groans and creaks under the strain of the gale, each timbre a testament to the fearsome image he cultivates. Yet, beneath this cacophony lies a quieter, insidious challenge. Teach grapples with his own essence, struggling to discern the man from myth, the hunter from the haunted. Can he remain captain of his destiny when entrapped within the very legend he spun? The whispers among his crew remind him of the precarious balance, each murmur a ghostly shadow of his own internal struggle, caught between the corporeal demands of leadership and the ephemeral phantoms of identity. The Queen Anne's revenge serves as both pulpit and prison, muse and monster, embodying the paradoxes of Teach's journey. In the midst of swirling chaos, the tempest begins to yield. Slowly, dawn's gentle light bleeds across the horizon, a fragile promise of peace after turmoil. The sound of seagulls cries harmoniously with a calming ocean, the storm's nocturnal tumult silenced into possibilities of alliance and survival. With the storm behind him, the tumultuous sea offers a calm, reflective surface. Teach stands on deck, the light of dawn painting his form in soft, forgiving hues. His gaze now follows the horizon not with dread, but a reserved curiosity. With this challenge surmounted, the daylight reveals clearer, calmer seas ahead. In this reprieve, the sea, infinite in its breadth, offers an unsettling yet comforting counsel. As vast as horizons may appear, they can be crossed, misunderstood, and ultimately weathered. Much like the myths we craft of mortar and shadow, Teach, rejuvenated, finds solace in this moment of tranquility, understanding that legends, like storms, are transient. The sea reflects his own journey, a boundless expanse of opportunities, both daunting and exhilarating, waiting to shape the man he chooses to become. The blockade of Charlestown unfurled beneath a sky thick with unyielding clouds, the atmosphere heavy with the promise of impending gloom. As Edward Teach known to all as Blackbeard held dominion over the harbor, an eerie quiet cloaked the city. The weight of anticipation pressed upon the townsfolk, who carried on with hollow steps and furtive glances, each breath drawn with palpable trepidation. Teach's fleet, dark-sailed and ominously silent, was a menacing presence, casting elongated shadows that crept sinisterly over the town's narrow streets. The masts, swaying slightly with the rhythm of the gentle waves, seemed like skeletal fingers clawing at the heavens, seeking dominion over the elements themselves. Teach's reputation was a living entity, its essence as sharp as the salt-laden wind that whipped ashore. Stories of his ruthless exploits spiraled through the town, woven into the fabric of every whispered conversation. They spoke of devilry, of a man who loomed larger than life, his visage shrouded in the smoke of burning fuses, intertwined in his bearded demonic figure, sculpting a theater of dread. Within the shadows of his own creation, beneath the facade of bravado, Teach contended with fractures in his realm. His crew, seasoned and scarred by countless battles, were bound by the undercurrents of hesitance and mistrust. The blockade, while a masterstroke of maritime strategy, strained this tenuous unity as scarcity began to gnaw at their once unyielding spirits. Unvoiced grievances simmered beneath the surface disguise of obedience, a chorus of dissonance threading through the creaking timbers of his ships. In the dim light of his cabin, where the scent of tar and old gunpowder lingered, Teach brooded. The flicker of a lantern cast unsettling shapes, echoing the uncertainties churning within him. Was his grip on both sea and men faltering, or perhaps, like the shadows, merely transforming, biding time to rearrange in his favor? His leadership was a double-edged cutlass, poised between the glory of fearsome renown and the precarious edge of mutiny. Outside, the sea mirrored the tension of vast, unyielding expanse, over which expressions of intrigue and silent negotiations played. It was here that decisions were distilled, as relentless and shifting as the tides themselves. Blackbeard's gamble paid off. Charlestown, bowed by the weight of dread, capitulated to his demands. The sensation of triumph was sharp, yet fleeting as a breeze that dances across the deck before vanishing into the ether. With the town laid bare to his will, Teach's legend expanded, yet it was shadowed by the unspoken tension among his ranks, a silent testament to the fragility of power born from fear. As the blockade lifted and the sails caught the returning wind, the crew remained motionless, held in the moment, each aware of the altered landscape. They now navigated both beneath the sea and within their own hearts. The sea reclaimed its monotonous sway, an ocean keeping its secrets. Blackbeard, surveying the ebbing currents, knew that alliances, like tides, could turn. The horizon whispered promises of newfound paths, uncharted risks. Neither victory nor infamy truly owned, but merely floated upon the surface, adrift with the steady heartbeat of the ocean beyond. Evening deepens with a languid grace over Ocracoke Island, where the whispered tales of trade and treason echo softly with the gentle hiss of glowing embers. These embers, contrasting against the encroaching night, illuminate Edward Teach's rugged visage, casting flickering patterns of orange and gold across his features. His eyes, sharp as the polished steel of his cutlass, betray a keen vigilance, reflecting both the firelight and a deeper, more profound internal blaze. As his closest allies huddle around the fire, their voices rise and fall in cadence with the distant waves, weaving tales of daring raids and lost comrades into the fabric of the ever-expanding twilight. The island's air carries with it the brine of the sea, mingling with the earthy scent of sand and foliage, forming an aromatic tapestry that clings persistently to the skin. This peculiar blend of salt and soil has a sharpness that stings the lungs and heightens the senses, a reminder of life lived at the edge of civilization, intimately tied to the sea. Yet beneath this familiar comfort lurks a budding tension, an electric charge in the air that hints at change. Teach, with his weather-beaten face turned towards the rhythmic stroking of the surf, senses it, a precursor to something momentous. His intuition discerns a discord among his men, their laughter and tales strained, a facade concealing envy and ambition as invisible adversaries. In the quiet, Teach's mind is caught in a delicate tug-of-war between doubt and conviction. As the fire crackles and whispers to the night, he remembers past betrayals, with the echoing lament of gunpowder overshadowing cries of mutiny, events transforming close allies into lost fragments of his wanderings. He contemplates the bonds between himself and these men, bonds tempered through shared plunder and conflict, yet fragile as the line between legend and mortality. These reflections gnaw at him, worming through his thoughts like woodlice through rotting ship timbers. The swells of the sea catch the moon's glow silver paths, appearing to lead to untouched corners of the world, destinations only whispered of in dreams. Above, the stars shimmer in cryptic patterns, constellations intangible yet guiding, a celestial map for the pirate's soul. Teach allows himself to lean back into this night, merging into its embrace, his mind sifting through the tapestry of rumor and destiny, as though seeking a pattern or whisper of what is yet to come. As he peers into the dancing flames, Teach knows that each man around the circle harbors secrets of his own, a tempestuous sea beneath a calm surface. The essence of piracy, enshrined in independence and rebellion, serves as a tenuous glue, ephemeral and malleable. It binds them in a covenant of blood and brocade. Yet the spirit of piracy also heralds the inevitable severing of ties. As the fire dwindles, casting sparks into the infinite black, Teach resolves to ride this uncertain tide, with only the night's murmured promises as his chart. The night is long, stretching into possibilities unknown. But as the first hints of dawn begin to murmur at the horizon's edge, Teach steels himself for a new day. This dawn creeps in slowly, carrying with it the hopes and fears of both old adversaries and new paths. It whispers of destinies yet unwritten, urging him to tread carefully, to measure each step against the silver paths laid before him by the sea and stars. With a deep breath, he embraces the uncertain dawn, ready to face whatever truths and trials it may reveal. The night hung heavily aboard the Jane, a silent sentinel under the vast canopy of stars, each point glinting like a distant, mocking eye. The ship, an aged vessel with dark, damp planks slick from the relentless sea spray, creaked softly underfoot as her crew shifted their weight, burdened by the gravity of fate. Knives tucked into belts caught moonlight, glinting coldly, while a tense anticipation hovered in the air, an intoxicating perfume of salt, tar, and the unspoken promise of impending conflict. The very deck seemed to breathe alongside them, as if taking a deep breath to brace for the clash looming on the horizon. Edward Teach, or Blackbeard, as he was known in seafaring lore and whispered tales, stood at the ship's bow. His shadow stretched long against the moonlit canvas of sea and sky. His famous beard, braided and adorned with fearsome flaming fuses, created a smoldering constellation that seemed to mirror the celestial display above them. Within this haunting interlude of silence preceding the chaos, Blackbeard's thoughts drifted through a tapestry of memory and self-reflection, woven with threads colored by the coppery tang of blood and the clamorous clash of steel. In the labyrinthine recesses of his mind, echoes of past battles resounded, the electrifying surge of adrenaline mingled with the haunting cries of those who had fallen beneath his blade. Each victory, etched into his soul, bore a weight, contributing to the legend that clung to him like barnacles to a hull. Yet, as he stood on this precarious threshold between night and dawn, Teach felt the palpable edge of his mortality. Each breath served as a reminder of the fragile thread suspending his myth in the eyes of both friend and foe. The ocean's voice whispered softly, weaving through the air, carrying sandy dirges against the hull, a timeless reminder of the countless souls claimed by these unyielding waters. The rigging swayed gently, their creaks forming a melancholic cadence, as if the ship herself was holding her breath. The taste of seawater infused the brisk wind, one charged with purpose, carrying away the secrets exchanged in quiet murmurs among the men. As the horizon began to flush with the first hues of daybreak, a wash of gentle colors spread across the sky, bathing the hard-set faces of the crew in a soft, merciful light. This beautiful transition from night to dawn held an ephemeral grace, one that belied the imminent brutality of battle, its fleeting nature heightening its poignancy. Edward Teach closed his eyes briefly, savoring this transitory peace, a last solace before the clamor of destiny shattered it. The chain, reliable beneath his feet, seemed to resonate with anticipation, her timbers vibrating in tune with the heartbeat of captain and crew. The chill in the air hinted at the cold embrace of oblivion, an unspoken promise that soon enough blood would warm these frigid, restless waters. Yet in this sacred moment, time drew long, an unbroken thread of stillness, a pristine pause before history's inescapable current would surge forward as the sun finally breached the horizon, draping the world in the fresh glow of morning. The stage was set. With a measured breath, Edward Teach opened his eyes to meet dawn's light head-on, ready to etch his final chapter into the annals of legend with a last, defiant flourish. The sea sprawled endlessly under the vigilant presence of a pristine moonlit sky, each gentle wave a quiet lullaby whispering soft invitations to dreams that dipped into the depths of the unconscious. The air carried the familiar tang of salt, mingled with the faint warmth of far-off lands and aroma that recalled voyages and adventures past. It was under this dome of celestial wonder that Edward Teach, known to the world as the infamous Blackbeard, felt his life wane, slipping into the swelling embrace of eternity. His pulse ebbed away with the tide, while the murmurs of distant gulls soared above, their silhouettes fading into the stardust strewn across the heavens. Across history's textured tapestries, Blackbeard's tale sailed effortlessly, both a whisper on the breeze and a storm in the annals of time. The sea, its surface mirroring the vast sky above, cradled this legacy with a carefulness imbued with whispers and winds scented with nostalgia. Here among the stars, the man of dual nature charming yet fearsome was immortalized, etching deepest story into the chronicles of seafaring legend. The night air seemed to tremble with his name, laden with the curious mixture of dread and reverence he inspired. It was a testament to the enduring power of myth, invoking ponderings amidst the gentle rhythm of the ocean about the man behind the mask. Underneath the calming waves, the ocean told stories not of an ending, but of a transformation, echoing the cycles of nature itself. It hinted at resilience, as though urging souls to ponder an existence beyond flesh and bone. The stars shone with a quiet intensity, each one a tiny oracle dispensing wisdom to those willing to gaze long enough. As the rhythmic dance of sea and sky continued, it left an indelible mark on the minds of those who braved the depths of its mysteries. In the quietude of night, listeners to the tale found themselves enwrapped in contemplation, the sea's vastness stirring reflections of their own fleeting journeys. There was an overwhelming serenity in the idea that every spirit, like Teach's, could find repose in the silence of the deep, amid the swells that licked the shore in ceaseless motion. Thus, in the solemn quiet, the legend grew larger, threading itself through the fabric of maritime lore. Around fires, and in the distant ports where the air was flavored with spices, and the promise of lands unknown, Blackbeard's story was woven anew. A symphony of narratives unfolded, each voice adding texture and rhythm, crafting a saga where truth and myth waltzed together under the moon's watchful eye. And so, as the night drew up its tides of sleep, those who leaned into its embrace were reminded to hearken to their own odysseys, finding unity with the sea's eternal heartbeat, carrying them gently into the tranquility of dreams. Here, they too could dream of endless horizons, lulled by the ancient and ever-present song of the ocean.